Yesterday I woke up 30 years old and realized I wasted my 20s chasing social media likes. It all started 10 years ago when I opened the Instagram app for the first time and saw some average artists getting thousands of likes on their posts, and I thought by myself, if they can do this, I can do this as well. And so I started posting my award-winning artworks, whatever that even means, to Instagram, and lo and behold, it got a couple of likes. I could count the amount of likes on one hand and got extremely disappointed, but I obviously didn't give up and posted more and more and more, only to get more and more disappointed. Now, several years later, after getting millions of views and tens of thousands of likes on some of my posts, I can tell you it's not your fault that you're not happy with the amount of likes that you're getting. It's because of the traps these social media companies have created for us. Now, what traps am I talking about? The first trap I fell into has something to do with the social comparison theory. The social comparison theory states that people value their own personal worth by assessing how they compare to others. Now, in essence, there's nothing wrong with this. We have to do this. This is a very good thing from an evolutionary perspective. We have to look at others. We have to look at our context to know how valuable we are. If you, for example, invent a wheel in the 21st century, then nobody is going to care about it. This is absolute bullshit. But if you invent a wheel 2000 before Christ, you basically get God tier status. And so we have to look at our surroundings. We have to look at other artists, other influencers, other businesses to know the value we have in the marketplace. The problem, however, is that for thousands of years our surroundings were a very good depiction of our surroundings. But in the social media 21st century landscape, this is not true anymore. Our surroundings are not a depiction of our surroundings anymore. The hot girls on social media are not hot. They are the hottest girls who also got plastic surgery and only show their best angles in the best light with the best filters. The jacked guys are not jacked. They are genetically modified creatures that also take steroids. And the best artists are not the best artists. They are the best marketers who also have insane art, looks, connections, budgets, and the algorithm all working for them. And so what you end up with is a very strange type of social comparison theory where our surroundings transform themselves in anabolic anomalies and influencer artists who combine model-like features with extreme budgets, extreme marketing, and unrealistic luck. And if you compare yourself to that, then you are doomed to feel like a fraud every single day of the week. And so our survival mechanism, our biology, is kind of working against us in this new environment, and I fell for this trap. Every time I opened social media, I felt miserable, terrible, jealous in a matter of minutes. The second social media trap is even worse because on this trap itself, I already wasted months of my life. It's called the Hedonic Treatment. I was so busy trying to impress strangers on social media that I forgot to impress myself. So here's how it would go. I would make some kind of YouTube video or post on Instagram or whatever, and for the next 2 hours, I would constantly check how many likes I got, how many comments I got. I was indulged, obsessed, devoured by the amount of likes that I would get and the performance of the video. And especially on YouTube, because if a YouTube video is not performing well, you can potentially save it in the first couple of hours by changing the title and thumbnail. And so you kind of have to do that. And again, let's calculate how much time I wasted on this. So let's say I did this 400 times. 2 hours, that's 800 hours. Divide by 16 hours because you're 16 hours awake a day. That is 50 days. 50 days. Just checking likes. I mean, this is insane. 50 days. Now, to be fair, in those 2 hours, you not only check likes, you also answer comments and kind of analyze the performance of the video, kind of think why it's not performing good or why it's performing good. And so you kind of learn it's not completely wasted, but still 50 days. Now, besides the time you waste on this type of behavior, there's another problem with it, and that's called the hedonic treadmill theory. The hedonic treadmill is a psychological phenomenon where individuals quickly adapt to positive experiences and return to their baseline level of happiness. And so what does this mean for social media? Well, it means that the first time you get 1,000 likes on your post, you're extremely happy. But by the second time or third time, you don't feel that happiness anymore because your baseline levels of success went to that 1,000 like mark. And so you end up with a reality where your best performing content becomes ordinary because you created those new levels of baseline happiness, baseline satisfaction. Now, why is this a trap? Well, if you connect your happiness levels to these vanity metrics like likes and and comments, then you simply never reach happiness because those baseline levels constantly change. And I definitely fell into this trap all the way in the beginning. The third trap is my personal favorite because I wasted most of my time on it. It's called emotional contagion. So I'm a very sensitive person and I underestimated the impact that social media has on sensitive people specifically. So here's what I would do. I would go on YouTube and watch Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. And for those of you who don't know that, it's basically the same as all those other host shows. Ellen DeGeneres, Oprah Winfrey, Dr. Oz, Trevor Noah. You get it. The host with some guest or host talking about some global issue. Anyway, John Oliver's show is one of the best pieces of content I've ever seen in my life. Every single episode they would address one of the major global issues in the most creative and funny way possible. But here's the problem with this type of content. Every single week they would address a major global issue, and every single week after that global issue I would become depressed and indulge with this issue. My brain just couldn't stop thinking about it, sometimes for a couple of hours and sometimes for days on end. I would become so sad I couldn't function properly anymore. And for years, I underestimated the emotional contagion of particular pieces of content. News fragments will make you more depressed. TikTok streams will make you feel insecure, and your Instagram feed will make you realize you've been following the same cat for 3 years. And in my case, this resulted in hours being wasted because when you're in a sad emotional state, you have to put in a particular amount of emotional labor to go back to the state prior to consuming the content. Let's calculate how much time this costed me on a weekly basis. Let's say that I put in 5 hours a week of emotional labor, which is an underestimate. So 5 hours multiplied by 2 multiplied by 10 years, 2,600 hours. Now let's say that you are awake 16 hours a day. So let's divide this by 16 to know how many days. 162 days spent, wasted on emotional labor, feeling other people's emotions or other content's emotions that was completely unrelated to my own personal life. 162 days. Now at this stage of the video you probably think by yourself, wow, this guy must hate social media a lot, which is very ironic since he's posting a video on social media. But this is not true. Nothing is either good or bad, said Shakespeare, but thinking makes it so. And so I strongly believe that social media is one of the most powerful business tools ever developed. So let's go over some of the solutions I found in the last decade. The first one is meditation. Now meditation is basically just concentration training, focus training, awareness training, and what this will do is it will increase your awareness so that whenever there is emotional contagion going on, you immediately become aware of it. You immediately see it and know that there's going to be emotional labor necessary to contradict this whole fucking thing, and so you stop doing that. You immediately become aware that Instagram is kind of making you depressed while you're scrolling, and you stop scrolling and you go back to the task at hand, the thing that you were doing before you were distracted. And so meditation is very powerful. Another thing that I will do is I will block these social media websites, or any bad websites for that matter. And so what I will do is I will go on Focus Me and then block it for a couple of hours if I want to, for example, be focused in the morning, or sometimes a couple of days if I feel like I need that at that moment. And the reason I believe you have to do this is because people are not designed to handle billion-dollar product design strategies together with artificial intelligences that are smarter than you and know you better than yourself. And so if you are going to battle these companies yourself with your own willpower, you are going to lose every single time. And the third solution is to become a creator instead of a consumer. There are basically two types of people on social media, those who consume and those who create. And there is a correlation between those two. The more I create, the less I consume, and the more I consume, the less I create. And so creating is one of the ways to not fall in these traps. Now let's say you are the type of person that doesn't fall for any of these traps. You are the very rare individual, the 0.2% of people that are not addicted. Well, in that case, I have bad news for you, because in my research for this video, I came across 55 different social media traps, of which I only included 3. And so I'm gonna show it on the screen so that you can pause and take a look yourself, because I'm sure that you fell victim for some of them and you're not even aware of it. Besides this, I have another video called I Wasted My 20s Chasing My Dream. You don't have to watch it, but it exists. Link in the description and in the end screen. That said, get the hell out of here.